Aloy of the Nora, what brings you to Meridian?
There's a threat to us all. Men in masks, raising up ancient machines. And I've seen their leader.
From the depths, I will raise an army. A storm of shadows to take back what's ours. What's it doing to them?
Taking control. You can see the corruption coming off them like smoke.
You've come a long way since the Citadel, Aloy.
Who are you?
An interested party.
Braves, to Aloy's side, now!
So it comes to this.
What is it?
The end. Or how it begins, anyway.
Alright gamers, geeks, and other delinquents from the Outer Realms, it's time for the Gamers in Beta podcast with Captain Mike M.
That is a travesty of the highest order I've ever fucking seen one.
Featuring assorted co-hosts, J Maniac 17.
The fuck was that all about?
Corey Atwood.
It's not my fault you guys all have shitty taste.
Sean Quicksilver 3355.
Well, maybe you should look it up.
And Joe State.
That game sucks, dude.
Alrighty. Well, I was going to say that I've been experiencing a hangover lately, and I've got a beer going right now, so we should probably try to get a short show in if we can today, because this beer will probably get to me, because we're going to get down to some talk about the games we've been playing, and that's what's causing my hangover. So I don't know about you guys. We probably should get into this, huh?
So you've been up late playing some Horizon Zero Dawn, have you, Jay?
Oh, yes, I have. Extensively playing Horizon Zero Dawn. Like I haven't been hooked onto a game in a long time. So
Horizon Zero, more like Horizon Zero Dumb. No, I'm just kidding. I desperately want to play that game.
Was that dumb or dong?
Dong.
Yeah, it's Horizon Zero Dawn because you stay up till dawn playing the damn thing. I don't want to stop playing. So
since I gave some thoughts on the 40 cast this week, which you can go check out, why don't you go first, Jay, and then I will sort of chime in on my impressions here and there, and I'm sure these other guys have questions as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Kind of along the lines of like what Witcher 3, before it even came out, just from seeing the things, same thing with this, just seeing kind of the gameplay and whatnot, what they were showing. I was looking at it, I says, this looks like it's going to be a good game. Then I get it and start playing it. And I've been having a hard time getting pulled into some games lately, kind of been bouncing around and stuff. And I started playing this, and I am just absolutely hook, line, and sinker into it. I have.
How far into it are you? Like, how many hours you put into it? If you were to estimate, I imagine there's no counter.
At this point in time, I don't even really know. Probably.
I'd to say somewhere
15.
around 15, yeah.
Yeah, about 15. Somewhere between 15 and 20.
If you were to estimate, I mean, you can only tell just from, assuming on the storyline, how far into the game would you say you feel like you are? Do you feel like you're still at the beginning?
No, that's very easy to tell, because when you go into your menu and look, it tells you your percentage that you've completed. So
as far as like when it says percentage, does it mean like percentage like GTA, like everything, or percentage like just narrative?
That I'm not sure of. I think it may be everything. I'm not sure. I'll have to follow up on a later one for that. But I believe it's an overall, and it says I think I'm at 23% now, 24%. So
not bad. That game just came out, so.
And chewing it right up.
What about you, Mike? How far into it would you say you are?
I'm slightly behind Jay. I think the last time I looked, it was just a shade under 21%. So I think I am level 18. And Jay, I think last night when we were playing, he hit level 20.
Yeah, I hit 20 last night.
Well, you guys weren't playing together, right? There's no multiplayer, right?
No, but you can play with other people. Well, let me back up. You can be in a party and be playing and not feel like you're missing out because there's not a whole lot of dialogue in certain areas. So if you're going out and say that you need to expand your pouch for resources or potions, well, you're just going out and you're killing boars and rabbits and things like that. So you don't really need to be, listening for dialogue for that, obviously, right? So it's a game at times that you can actually be in a party with people and both be playing and talking strategy and things like that. Certainly there are some points where you want to say, all right, I'm going to go hear some dialogue now and I'll be back in a minute. But other than that, it's been a very enjoyable game as far as being in a party with someone.
Okay, so it was just like a voice party then. It wasn't any sort of like gameplay.
Yeah, there's no game interaction.
Yeah, it's
no
PlayStation. You're on the PlayStation Network party, and because the game is single player. There's no co-op. There's no nothing like that. However, the reason we're playing like this is because we're sharing ideas across. Because this game does not handhold you. Literally, there are training, like you can do training for the weapons when you get them. But using them against different machines and whatnot that you fight within here, and we're going to be as spoil-free as possible. Possibly trying to go with none. But it doesn't handhold you. So you're going through, you're playing, and you're trying to figure out how do I kill this creature. And you have, what is it called, the sight? When you push.
Well, you have this thing on your head that's called a focus, and you push down on the R3 button. And that gives you, it can show you what's in your surroundings. So it can show you where animals are. It can show you what the weaknesses is of the robots and things like that.
So kind of like Tomb Raider, like Rise of the Tomb Raider. It's got like that hunter.
Or the Witcher sense. It's like Witcher sense.
Okay, yeah.
Very much like Witcher sense. I mean, that would highlight animals and creatures that are around you and footsteps and stuff like that. It's very much like that. So, I guess as an example, I would say that the game is kind of it reminds me a lot of Witcher in some ways, with some Tomb Raider thrown in, and probably, it acts kind of like Far Cry, the Far Cry series. So it's along those lines.
It's definitely a mashup of a lot of RPGs that you're familiar with. But it does its own thing.
Yeah, definitely does its own thing.
It's an Ubisoft game, so I have to ask.
It's not a Ubisoft.
Yeah, you're right. What the fuck am I talking about? Like everyone compares it to Far Cry, so I always jump to that type of a game. But are there like these vantage point type things? It looks like a game that would have vantage point type areas where you have to climb up somewhere or something to open parts of the map. Is it like that, or is everything open in the beginning?
Everything's open.
I've heard that there's
so far to
something
this point.
like that. But no, mostly it's you searching and stuff. I mean, you can buy some maps that will the nice thing is that your map isn't cluttered. It's not like you just run around. It's along the lines of like with Witcher, you'd have to go to the signboards, and when you went to the boards, it would then open things up. With this, you literally have to buy the maps if you want to clutter up, if you want the map to begin to get semi-cluttered up or to reveal, collectibles and locations and stuff like that. You can buy those maps, or you can just leave it and discover them as you're just running around the world. I mean, I'm doing the main quest and I'm running along, and all of a sudden I run into a guy, talk to him, and the next thing you know, it opens up this quest very Witcher-like. It has a story, a really good story behind it, and then you have some fighting that you have to do, and it leads into a side mission that doesn't feel like a fetch quest. It's a side mission with a story that really fleshes it out and doesn't make it feel like just a fetch quest. The thing I think that really sets it aside, other than I've been comparing it to Witcher quite a bit, and in Far Cry a little bit, but it really stands on its own is the fighting and how you fight these different machines and whatnot. I mean, the movement's very fluid. The combat is very fluid once you start getting used to it.
What's the combat like? If like there's another game you had to compare it to, is the combat like a Batman Rocksteady game? Is it more like an Assassin's Creed type, or is it more like freeform? You don't have to do button combos like
right. It's more like a Witcher, hack and slash. I mean, she has this weapon with her that you can press R1 and R2. So you unlock, there's a skill tree, just like any RPG. Okay. And you can power those up, as you unlock, your R1 and R2 can become more powerful. So those would be your hack and slash buttons if you were like in close quarters. But you can certainly play the game, from a distance in some cases. So some of these robots are called watchers. And, once you spot them, you can, and rather than getting close, you can just be methodical about it and pick them off, here and there and things like that. Some of them can't be one-shot kills, but the watchers, usually you can, one-shot them if you get them right in the center of their eye.
Do you level up the character and her skills, or do you level up the weapons?
You level up the character, and then the weapons have, in The Witcher, you would have those gems or whatever that you would put in modifications.
Like those slot things. Okay.
Yeah, you have slots that you can put mods into it, and you can, as you go along, you get higher level mods. You have electrical, fire, tear, which it rips the armor off the machines better, so that you do a little more damage to them, and it works on their armor. And then what's the other one? There's another one, I think, handling, which is, basically, like recoil for guns. But with these weapons, you have slings, bows. You've got this thing you can, what's it called? The tripcaster, which you can fire, and it lays like a rope, an electrified rope across, and when they hit them, it stuns them.
No, only some of them, though. Some of these...
the bigger ones, it doesn't.
Step right over them.
Right.
This game does not have dumb AI. They seem like the bigger the machine, and obviously if you've seen this, some of these machines are corrupted. They are very smart, so they can see that those tripwires are down, and they'll step over them or they'll go around them.
Really?
So in some situations, what I have found, you're going to run into these corrupted zones that you need to clear out, and I lay all these tripcasters down in such a way that I don't leave any spaces. So I sort of stagger them. And then you have also other traps that you can lay down, explosions, electric shocks, and things like that. And I sort of create this defensive wall as these things come near me, because these corrupted robots are almost like one shot and you're dead. Especially the bigger they are. You can maybe take one or two hits from the watchers, but the other ones, forget about it. You'll die instantly. So I create this barrier between me and them, and let that stuff really, drain them and bring their powers down. And then I'm just hammering them with, fire bolts.
And it really, you have to use different tactics for different things, because each machine, you can hold up to, I think at this point in time with the weapons pouch that I have, I can hold, I believe it's 20 weapons, which is crazy.
I don't have 20 weapons equipped, though. I only have 4. No,
at this point in time, I think I have 6. And you can keep different ones. And I have different bows, because one bow has just arrows that have the tear and shock on them, and then the other arrow is a fire arrow. That's one bow. Then I have another bow, and that's quick. I can fire one after another. Then I have another bow, which is a ranged bow, which does a little more damage. It does a little more tear damage, and it also has another arrow on it that does, I guess when you hit them, it hits them, and then it's like a compressed air, so it'll blow the armor off them. But it doesn't do any damage to them. It just knocks the armor off.
Is there any weaponry that's like guns, or is it all kind of like Cro-Magnon weaponry?
It's all so far. There's a couple things that you can pick up from other people who drop them that are like, Gatling guns and stuff like that. There is something called a Rattler, which again is still.
I haven't picked that one up yet either. Me and Mike are completely playing this completely different in a way with the weapons that we have too.
The Rattler will shoot out like 5 bolts at a time, 5 metal bolts. And, I mean, that's still made out of, wood and things like that. But that's like for close quarter combat, really does a lot of damage. I want to back up a little bit, Jay, because we're sort of just diving, headfirst into like.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it's so much to this game. I mean, it's easy to get lost,
But I mean, let's talk. This is really your first PS4 game that you've been playing religiously, right? I mean, The Witcher and Fallout you played on Xbox. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah.
So, what's your thoughts about that? Diving into a PS4 game and being addicted to it or hooked to it this much? You're enjoying it?
Well, I kind of started heading in that direction a little bit, and like I said, we got got a little deviated from it. But I mean, first party console exclusive. Xbox has nothing to match this. Nothing. I don't know what they've got coming out. The only thing is Crackdown, that is going to be open world, and if I don't know if they can match this. I hope they can, because if not, they've really got nothing else that's going to compare. I mean, Gears. I've played Gears, really enjoyed Gears, but it's short and it didn't pull me in quite like this.
Yeah, it was also another iteration of a series. Like, this is a brand new IP.
And this is what's amazing about this is usually you get your first one and there's some flaws and stuff. And this one does have some flaws. But really they don't detract from how good the gameplay is. And as you play along, you're getting loot in a way because you have to collect all this stuff to upgrade your pouches. You're always upgrading your pouches, changing out your mods on your weapons because you find a more powerful weapon. You're buying an upgraded weapon that is the same type. Like I'll have my hunter's bow. I'll have that. That one has the shock on it. You can upgrade to what is it they have? Is it blue and then purple, Mike?
So I've only seen, there's green, blue, then purple.
That's it, green.
So green is uncommon, blue is rare, purple is very rare. And I haven't seen anything beyond those 3 colors. I'm hoping there is, but I'm not sure. Yeah. I mean, that certainly leaves room for, upgrades to things to come. But if we get back to the PS4, I also think, hey, it's a fucking phenomenal looking game, right? And you talk about the combat, very fluid. I don't notice any hiccups, any screen tearing, any sort of stuttering. It runs smooth. It looks great. It's just phenomenal. And you're playing it on the PS4. I'm playing it on the Pro.
I'm noticing a little bit when you're close combat. And I mean, when I say close combat, I'm in close combat with some of these creatures that are probably 4 or 5 times the size of me, of my character. And there's 4 or 5 of them around me, not including the ones that might be in a radius around me, a further radius. And I'm in close combat with 3 or 4 of them at once. And the only time I really have an issue is if I'm in a tight area, because you can get into some tighter areas where there's rock formations around you or the rivers, and they come down and will find a way around these things to come down and get you. And I find when I get in there, sometimes I get some hesitations. When I'm trying to override some. If
that
one
must be a PS4 thing.
Right, and that's why I'm wondering if you're running into that, because I'll have sometimes when I'm trying to override one creature and another one starts attacking me, there'll be a little bit of a hesitation and a glitch almost, where I can't move around and override, and it'll drop out of the override thing and then go back into it.
Now, what is the override? What is the override?
So you learn these abilities to, as the story progresses, and I don't want to give any spoilers, but eventually you get an ability to turn the robot dinosaurs in your favor.
Oh, like taming them, kind of. Like
exactly,
that.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and you get that right out of the box, but...
No.
Is it? Oh, no, that's right. It is. It's a little bit. It's not too far in. It's not a big spoiler either.
Fake news.
I mean, it's there, but it's fake news. But
hey, that's Joe State's voice. Welcome, Joe.
Yeah, I feel like I've been asking all the questions. I'm like, shit, I got to let Joe talk. Stop asking questions.
I know. Joe's got a PS4. I'm surprised he hasn't tried this yet.
Now, Joe, are you big into RPGs at all?
Yeah, I like some.
Yeah.
I do. But, if I was about to get into a game that was going to take all of my fucking time, I would be going with Zelda over this. No offense to this. I mean, this looks great, but...
I am very curious to see how that's going to play out,
Yeah.
As I get more into Zelda, is it going to be a situation, gee, which one do I fucking play now?
Right? Which one of you is my child?
Right.
It drives me crazy. Like, it drives me crazy when people are getting in the fight of like, no, why would you play this? This is so much better. And like the fight between which one's better. And it also drives me crazy the other end of the spectrum. The people are saying like, how can you compare the two? Like, of course you're going to compare the two. They're coming out at the same time. They're these giant open world games. They're like, supposedly both amazingly good and groundbreaking. So you're going to compare the two, but
for real.
So that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. I mean, not to beat up too much on Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm having a lot of fun with it, it's a constant to me now that I sort of understand it. There's a little bit of a learning curve and a little bit of, laziness in the beginning because in the beginning it's not, if you go off like Jay and go into areas that you shouldn't be in, it can be challenging. But if you play sort of as the game wants you to play, it's not that challenging in the beginning. So what will happen is you will find yourself, well, what the fuck do I need to expand this for? Why do I need to, make a pouch that can hold more resources, or why do I need to upgrade this? I'm not having any problems. And then all of a sudden you hit the wall. You start getting to certain robots that come along, and you're like, all right, I am not equipped any longer. And then you have to start expanding and crafting. So there's always a constant. They have a thing called create jobs. So if you have a pouch that can hold your resources in it, let's say it's only holding 15 resources. Well, that's not going to get you through the game. You want to max that out. So every time you have what it takes to make the pouch larger, you can craft. And then if you don't have it, there's a button that says create the job, and that adds to your errand list. And you go out and get boar skin, rabbit bones, and things like that.
American Steel.
So you just, it's a constant, going in, upgrading, crafting, and things like that. Now, I'm curious to see as you develop your, your skills, if any of that stuff becomes automated. I'm wondering, right
I don't
now.
I don't think it does. It doesn't seem that way at this point
right
in time.
Now, if you go in and make any modifications, like you got a weapon and you're like, gee, I just unlocked this new one, but what I have, I kind of like. I want to keep that for later. Sorry. If you don't have the tinker option set up, that seems to be later in the skill tree, you lose that modification and your new one becomes active. So you got to be careful with things like that. But I'm curious to see how these modifications will change gameplay as you go.
And,
all right, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, along with what he's saying there, you kind of hit that wall. But I don't think you ever hit the, controller chucker.
No. Well, you seem to, because you were wandering in places that you shouldn't have been going at a low level.
Oh, and I knew it. I was enjoying that challenge of trying to beat like these 5 different machines, and run in and trying to find out what tactic I could use with what weapons.
It's just, like he alluded to, there's many different ways you can play the game. He tends to, at least for this game, let me run ahead and see everything. I want to see all these dinosaurs, where I'm like, I'm going to take, I don't know why I keep calling them dinosaurs. They're robots.
Well, they look like dinosaurs, though.
There's a couple of them.
Robosaurs. Yeah. Let's call them Robosaurs.
There we go, the Robosaurs.
Well, I'm taking a more methodical approach. Like, let me level up as the game designed me to, and let me go into these areas that my level is, adequate for. And then I'm conscious of, like, I got to a new part in the game last night, and it seemed like, the game was really going to change at this point. It was a different location. All right, let me look at all my quests, because I'm afraid of, I'm not sure how much of The Witcher you played. Did you play that at all, Corey, or is this another game you've never played?
Witcher 3 I beat, yeah.
Oh, you beat that, okay.
Yeah.
So with Witcher, remember if you went ahead by like 6 or 7 levels, any of the missions no longer gave you XP if you didn't do them?
Yeah.
So I'm worried about that with this. They haven't said anything like that, but I'm like, shit, I don't want to go off into this new world, and I still got, other shit that I can still do back where I just was. So I'm going through there, cleaning all that stuff up, and then going to this new place now.
So I'm actually playing very stealthily, believe it or not. You kind of
just going into places that were like level 18 when you were like level 12.
No, I was in areas that were level specific, but I was trying to tackle it head on and not being as stealthy as I should be. And one of the big things you need to do, which this is what Mike is kind of referring to more, is you have training missions which give you XP for your levels, so you can level up. You do training missions with the weapons, and they teach you how to use these weapons, and it also shows you when you're going in, you're using, say, the weapon you're using has shock. You're attacking they have you attack these creatures, which are part of, that quest, and you learn how to use that weapon, and that creature has, you're easier to kill that way. Like maybe there's a thing on the back that you hit with fire and it makes them explode.
You're dead meat, Pilgrim.
Exactly. So, in that way, I didn't go in and do those weapon missions, and I really need to go back and do those because that's kind of a part of their training mission. They don't really hold your hand going through, and that's part of how that works. And also, that's why we go into the party and we're talking when we're just kind of traveling, and we're discussing like, hey, where do I hit this one? Boom. Oh, hit him here and it'll knock him down. Or which weapon should I use in this area? Or, oh, what's over here? What kind of strategy do I use if I go over into this area? What got you through here? So it's really interesting to be able to talk. And even in the Discord chat, we're chatting. And even in our text with another group that we have, we're chatting in there. And everybody's like, hey, what part have you gotten here? And what have you gone to? And have you gone to here? And the conversations and the communications that are being created from playing this game, it's something I haven't seen. Not even with Witcher did I see this really.
All right, just three small, real tiny questions. Is there level difficulty? Is there a set of level difficulty? Like, can you crank it up or turn it down?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And you guys are playing on normal, I imagine.
I'm playing out of the box normal.
Okay. Is there any sort of like buyer's remorse as far as like doing skill trees and placing nodes? Like, is there any option to readjust that and reset them, or no?
I
No.
don't think there's a respec.
I haven't seen a respec yet. The only thing is you can buy back stuff if you sold stuff. That's the only thing I see. But I haven't seen anything like you're talking about buyer's remorse. Like,
right.
Shit, I goofed up. Oh well.
Yeah, most games don't. I was just curious as to whether or not this one had one.
They've done a really good job with the skills where you can go through. I mean, you can spec out and be like, oh, I wish I'd got this one. But when you start getting into an area and start getting stuff and you're getting your XP, it comes quick enough, and they unlock it at a rate that's pretty good with how you're getting your XP. So if like, oh, I should have gotten that one, within half hour or so, you can go back in and pick that one up and be like, oh, now I've got it.
And one thing about this game, Corey, is it's not like a path. You know how some RPGs like, all right, I want to get everything in this path. Well, maybe that's not how I wanted to play, and I want to go this path. The skill tree is wide open. Like, you're going to unlock everything. There's not like, all right, I've unlocked this skill, which means I can't get this one. You can get all of them. Really?
So, like, right out of the gate, my first, like, skill point or node or whatever, I could put it in anything? I wouldn't have to, like, unlock 4 or 5 before it?
There's a row that has, like, the first row is all, like, 1-point skills.
Right.
Okay.
But then it goes down to like 2 points, 3 points, and things like that. But what I'm saying is there's no like path or tier that you only can go down. Like, hey, I'm playing as stealth, and I'm only going to get stealth skills. This lets you unlock every skill as long as you have the points for it.
Yeah, it's not like Mass Effect where you can pick the top or the bottom, and you move through. You grab this. If you get the skill point, if you've got the points, you can put it into it and get it.
Okay. And my last question is, Mike, how happy are you with that statue?
Oh, statue's so good. I look over at it and go, that's a solid purchase. And how can you argue with that? The game costs $60 or $35 more. You got that statue through Best Buy with Gamers Club.
Kind of wish I'd done it.
It's just awesome. A lot of detail with it.
What's her name? Alloy? What's her name? Aloy. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. And no game is without warts. Well, it looks like Zelda might not have any warts, but I'm at the point now. What do we talk? Somewhere in the 12 to 15 hour range. I'm starting to get to the point now where, all right, give me some more story. The story was very. In the beginning, there's a lot of cutscenes. They're heavy on the story, and then it's after a few hours, you're out in the wild and you're doing your missions, you're unlocking stuff. But I want some more now. And it seems like that's where I'm going because I'm going into a new place. So hopefully they have that nice and pace to keep you engaged. I mean, it's nice to go out and just do hunting missions or going into bandit camps and stuff like that and getting these little side quests. But I'm a type of guy that also really likes story, narrative. So I'm eager for more of that right now.
I think it's very similar in Witcher in that case, though, where you can be sidetracked very easily and with these side missions. Because, I mean, you can grab one of these side missions. It'll take you an hour to finish because they put a very good story with some of these ones. Some of them can be shorter too, but I think if you just chose the main story, you could just follow along that main story and go through, but you're doing a little bit of hunting and whatnot off to the side.
Yeah, you'd be woefully underpowered and you wouldn't have all your stuff,
Yes, yeah.
You wouldn't have enough stuff to hold resources and all your arrows and stuff like that.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say with that, it's kind of like Witcher, though. You were asking about, if there's different levels that you can play at. There is one in there that says basically it's kind of like what Witcher had, sword and story. This one is just, basically it's easy. And if you just want to play, and there's some, combat, but it's, mostly you just follow the story. And then you don't worry about having to, grind a little bit to do the upgrades and stuff.
Are the side quests as multi-tiered as Witcher 3? Because, those side quests, some of them are really good. And we've talked about the Baron and how much we all like that. But I felt like some of those side quests in Witcher 3 just got so fucking irritating. Because it was like, okay, we need to unlock this door. But to unlock this door, we need to talk to this guy. And to talk to this guy, we need to go find this girl. And it just got kind of tedious in some of the side quests for Witcher 3. So, are they as long?
Okay. No, they've been pretty
in the maybe 15, 20-minute range tops.
Okay.
Like, hey, this guy was part of our caravan. He sold us out and took off with all our cash or whatever their currency is. Can you go track him down and get our stuff back, and we'll give you a cut of it.
Right.
There's I came across one of those, and that was 15, 20 minutes. But the cool thing with that one is you came across some creatures you never saw before.
Right. They're pretty good about. It was along the way of one of the other missions we were doing, and we kind of ran into it. And I think it was 3 steps. So kind of like you were saying, it was multi-tiered, if that's what you're talking about. It had 3 steps to it. You complete one, you complete the other one, you do the other one. But they were pretty good about keeping them right in line. You went around, you complete this section, so then if you quit out, you've got it. It's almost like a save point there. And then you just move along, and like I said, it introduces you to something new, and it's almost training you to move on, because that's one of the big things with this. It just seems 15, almost 20 hours in, I don't feel I could keep doing the same thing. They're constantly opening something new, and I'm finding new creatures or new factions. They do a really good job of doing that.
I'm eager to get back into some more of the old world, the metal world stuff like you saw in the very beginning of the game. I thought that stuff was phenomenal.
Is that Cauldrons?
No, that's not the Cauldrons. The beginning, like when you were the little girl and you fell down.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, that's just, I want to see more of that stuff.
You motherfuckers. You've really made me want to play this game. It pisses me off that there are these 2 giant RPGs that I want to play at the same time.
I usually will say, I never try to shit on a game. But I always try to have a positive to these games. This game is absolutely phenomenal. It has, like I said, warts. I really can't see any. Other than, like I said, when I'm in the close quarters with multiple creatures. But still, you can be running along, dive, pull out your bow, shoot at something while you're sliding, and then spin around and go shoot another thing, and then chuck out some traps and just kind of set the area. It's incredible I feel like I'm a hunter in this, because basically that's what they give you that feel is you're a hunter trying to survive in this world. And they've really, that's what it kind of comes down to me. I'm really enjoying it. So
you both are both of you guys giving it like an official check it out? Is that what I'm hearing?
Oh yeah, I'd give it, somewhere in the 9 to 9.5 range if I had to give it a score.
Yeah, if you own a PS4 and you don't own this game, you are missing out because you can't get it anywhere else. And I'll tell you, PC, Xbox, PS4, any of them, I haven't played Zelda, so I can't compare to that. But I'll tell you, this is going to be, one of those games that is an absolute standout. So far, that's how it's been for me.
That's an official Gamers in Beta. Check it out.
Check it out. Check it out. Check this motherfucker out.
Sorry, I never get to use that.
I didn't even know you had that.
I haven't played Resident Evil 7, and we'll get to more of that in a little bit with Joe. But people are saying, that was an early contender for Game of the Year. I'd have to put this right there, with it. We'll see when Red Dead comes out, Mass Effect, Andromeda, and things like that. But
yeah,
at the, what is this, almost just shy of the quarter mark of the year.
Yeah, not quite.
Yeah, it is staggering how good it is. So, anything else, Jay, before we move on?
A game that I've been playing for a few weeks now, and I couldn't say anything because there was an NDA, is Death Squared, which is kind of a puzzle game. You've got to kind of move around on. You have like a board that you're moving these two cubes around on, and one stick controls one cube, and the other stick controls the other cube. And there's little circles that you got to move them to, and they will light them up, and that's how you complete the area. And there's different things with this puzzle game that you have to move around on this board. And like there's one red and one blue, and the blue one can go over the opaque red squares, and vice versa. The red can go over the blue opaque squares. So you got to kind of figure out how to get moved around, get to these circles. There's spikes that will come up. If you get on a circle with the red on a red circle, it'll pop some spikes up in the on the board, and you got to kind of move around. And my wife does not like it when I play this game because this game makes me angry, and I love puzzle games. It's just, it's very tough, and it can be frustrating because, like the stick that controls the cube on the right is the left stick, and vice versa. The left stick controls the cube that's on the right when you're starting. So I'm already backwards, and then I stop moving around, and it's tough. And you're trying to, literally there's times you have to move both of them at once to get through.
I'm looking at this thing, and I'm like, I am out. I'm not even remotely interested by the picture. I'm like,
yeah, you would not
play this.
like this. You would not like this game at all.
It's going to be at PAX. It's going to be at PAX East.
Yeah, I remember getting an invite. And this looks like it's going to be on the PS4, Xbox, and Steam.
Yep.
Yes, it's going to be on all. That being said, it's not quite a controller checker. It makes me angry, but I just makes me feel dumb. I guess.
I'm not a moron,
Yeah, exactly. And the writing in this is along the lines. The only thing I can really explain is it's like Cookie Masterson in You Don't Know Jack. Just the quips of like, oh, what? You didn't know the question you didn't know the answer to that question? What do you know? Oh, we've got a moron on board. It's along those lines, and it really is good. So I'm enjoying it that way, but it does get frustrating. There's just something with the puzzle element of trying to solve those puzzles that can be kind of frustrating. The movement, you can get knocked off the board very easily, and then you die 2 or 3 times, and you got some guy on the screen, on the TV telling you, "Geez, I've never seen him die this much. Were they stupid?" So that, I guess maybe that's part of it, but it's something I will continue to play. I kind of jump in and I'll play a couple of puzzles to a point where I get to that frustration threshold, and then I put it away. So. It's definitely worth looking at. This is one of those ones. I'm not going to give it a great, but I think if you like puzzle games, take a look at some videos and see if it's something that may interest you, knowing that, again, each block is controlled with one of the sticks, and you kind of got to move around. And that's about it. So,
alrighty. Well, we're going to hear from Joe and Corey in just a little bit about what they're playing. But first, we're going to dive into some of the questions of the week stuff and the responses. Jay, what was the question this week?
The question of the week was, does your significant other support your gaming habits? Do they play with you?
All right. So we got a decent amount of responses this week, fellas. Corey, why don't you kick it off with some of the responses?
All right, so our first response is from Bucks Sugar Free, one of the listeners in our Discord chat. Love this dude. Honestly, I'll use my daughter. She is 7 and fell in love with video games just as I did. Oh, that gets me right in the feels because I'm in the exact same situation. We play together all the time. Lego Dimensions, Disney Infinity, Resident Evil. Wow, one of those things is not like the other.
Seriously, you play Resident Evil with your daughter?
Maybe he means one of the first couple. That's not that bad. One thing she loves to do for me is create my character for all my games that have that option. As you might be able to guess, all my characters are girls. So to have something that I have always loved and to be able to share that with my daughter is something special to me. And I'm totally on board with that. I'm in the same situation. My daughter is she's about to turn 3, so we're not playing Resident Evil anytime soon. But I know what you're talking about.
He also lets her play GTA Online. They go out and buy lots of outfits, he says, and other things. She likes to buy the guns, too, though. So.
All right, and the next one is from Derp2309s, or 9S, I guess. My girlfriend doesn't play video games at all. Aww. She's a hardcore hockey fan, and I tried to get her to play NHL 17, and she wouldn't. She doesn't necessarily support it, but will let me be whenever I'm playing. She absolutely understands you cannot pause online games, which is very important. It drives me crazy when people don't understand that. So she'll never ask me to do something once my round or time is over, or she'll ask me to do something when my round or time is over, and I'll happily oblige. The one good thing about her not playing is that it creates something that's mine. We eat together, work out together, do sports together, so gaming is my fortress of solitude.
True that. Preach.
And finally, RoboPig from Good for Gaming. My wife is fine with it, but doesn't play games with me. She has been very supportive of my Extra Life and 8-bit salute efforts as well as my kids have also. That's why I always stress to anyone considering attempting a 24-hour marathon that you have to have your spouse/family support to do it successfully. And this man is not lying. You do need support to do that. That's no small feat.
Yeah, and I have failed to mention or congratulate Dave. I think he recently put in Discord that he got the silver medal from Extra Life, shooting for gold this year. But props to Dave for those efforts.
Nice job.
Wow!
All right, Joe.
All right. So, the first up here has a lot of bullet points. So, wish me the fucking best.
This is a good one.
I gave you Mafia Thug and Latina Mafia back to back.
Yes. I see this. And Mafia Thug is our good friend who has all the bullet points. So, wish me luck because I feel like I'm going to fuck this up.
Go, Joe, go!
Mafia Thug says... And this is in the Discord chat, which all of you should join if you feel like joining us. Because it's well, as we all know, I'm one of the lucky few that has a wife that loves the game as much as I do. There are downsides, though. Number 1, Destiny. I hate that game. Hell yeah, Mafia Thug. Destiny fucking sucks.
Agreed.
Keep reading.
Especially when I'm trying to sleep so I can get up for work in the morning. 2, she is a better gamer than me. So it's frustrating to get owned by your wife over and over again, especially in Rainbow Six. But it does feel good when I pop her grape every once in a while. And the VGRS crew usually gets a good laugh out of it, too, by hearing her screaming at me over the mic. It's expensive, especially with games we both like and want to play. We have to buy double of everything to satisfy both of our gaming needs, wants, and desires. Even with those setbacks, I wouldn't want it any other way. I couldn't ask or even dream of a better wife.
Aww.
P.S. Did I mention she's hot as hell? No, you didn't. Latina Mafia, she responds. She says, okay, so the hubby's pretty awesome. No, he doesn't keep me up all night with Destiny. Just with his other games, he decides to play late nights, and they happen to be on the entertainment system. Can anyone say, boom? The bass is louder than the bedroom, or louder in the bedroom than in the living room.
Yeah, baby.
Mm-hmm.
And no, he isn't yelling when I pop his grape. It does get expensive at times, but not as expensive as it could be.
Does anybody else really love the term "pop his grape"?
I love it when, especially when it comes right after the bedroom and the bass is louder there.
Well, he doesn't. He doesn't yell while she does it, which is nice. He's not a screamer.
Oh, Jesus.
It does get expensive at times, but not as expensive as it could be. This is especially considering Mafia made me get rid of the 3 Xboxes I had when we got together. Bam, 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 bam. That's the hype fucking air horn right there. Xboxes is the fucking smartest thing you could ever do.
Got 3 Xboxes.
You should get rid of all 3 of them, just like she
Hell
did.
no.
3 of them? Why? Well, I want to know why there were 3 of them.
3 different rooms.
Yeah. One in the living room, one in the bedroom, and one in the game room.
But I do agree. I wouldn't want it any other way. That's what's up.
All right. Good job there, Joe.
Hey, thanks.
You're up,
And
Jay.
we're moving on to Darian team at Mainstream's GZBL. Kind of a deal breaker if she doesn't. I've decided streaming is what I want to do. I need my significant other to be okay with that. That is from a fellow Mainer who is he's trying to get some streaming and get some followers. So check him out if you want. We have Eric Bouchard, AZ Rockslide of Everyday Gamers. Unfortunately, I would have to have a significant other for this to matter. Fortunately, I have no one to scold me, and he seems very happy with that.
Forever alone.
Oh, that's a little sad. Message me, Rockslide. I'll play games with you.
I don't know. It's maybe, there's times when he's single.
It's
It makes
very
it better, right?
established. He doesn't want pity.
Yes.
This is great for him. We had a long conversation. Well, I lurked on a long conversation on Twitter about that.
That's true. You can play like fucking anything you want until 3 a.m. and no one is going to bother you. So I can see that.
There's days I miss that, but well, it is what it is. Jay, a.k.a. Meef J, at Meef J of Everyday Gamers. Yes, supports my podcasting and doesn't give me crap for gaming in healthy moderation. Play some family games like Mario Party, Dance Central, but not the hardcore games. Shownuff71 at Shownuff71 Gamer Husbands Radio. My wife doesn't care. As long as it doesn't neglect time with her, it's not a problem. As a kid in the 80s, my folks flooded me with games and consoles due to the drug scare at the time. Never was tempted to use, but I used concern to feed my gaming habit. Hashtag don't judge me.
I love that he exploited that situation to feed his video game habit.
So cool.
Give me Mario and I won't do pot.
Yeah, Mom, I heard crack was really good, but maybe Mario 64 is better. Just saying.
Just saying.
Video games is the best fucking weapon against the war on drugs.
All right, we got a few more here. Another guy from Everyday Gamers, Holy Headshot. He responds, sadly, she doesn't game with me, but watches some games and does support it. The kids and I bond with gaming all the time. Brian Young, Juggler of Geese. Hoping everything is all right with your father, Brian. He says, she has no problem with my gaming. She does not participate, but unless surfing the net in the den, she stays in the room. Chaffee, at that Chaffee of Games We Don't Play podcast. Hell no. My wife gives the most serious eye rolls when she hears the consoles chime on. Bonafide hater.
Oh, you know what they say about haters, man.
And that tweet was quickly followed up by Indio Techno, who says ditto. But she has her moments where she just lets me play for hours, like yesterday. It was glorious.
Glorious.
All right, guys, so we got to go around now and answer this question ourselves. Corey, as a person who is married and has a young daughter, what is the situation at home with the gaming with the wife?
Well, I told my wife, we met in college, and I told her like straight up when we first started dating, like, listen, I don't have a lot of hobbies. I'm not into sports. I don't do a lot of dude type things, but I play video games, and that's like a really big part of me. So, take it or leave it. Like, I threw that out right there in the beginning.
You can get out now.
Right. That's what I said. I was like, this is me. And she's been totally cool with it. When I met her, she had a fucking PS2 in college. So like we play games together all the time. I mean, she doesn't like everything I play and I don't like everything she plays. But I mean, we bond over games all the time. Like we played all the way through the latest Uncharted together, just handing the controller back and forth.
Yeah, shit on I bet you if she was on the show, Corey, she would have given that fucking game of the year.
Oh, let it go, man.
I'm not fucking letting that go. Never.
But yeah, I mean, we play games together. Actually, this is an early story. I'll make it really quick because it is a story. But it was when we were still dating and we were playing. PS2 was relatively young, and we had this game. Probably no one else has heard of this game. It's called Kinetica. It was like a racing game where you're like these girls in bikinis and you had like wheels for hands. Really fucking weird. But it was a racing game, and we played the shit out of that like competitively. And me being a cocky douchebag, like early in our relationship, I tried to talk her into early in our relationship. We hadn't like barely messed around. I talked her into playing like strip Kinetica. And long story short, I lost. And so I just sat there naked like a douchebag. And she decided to marry me all these years later. So I guess it worked out.
So be honest, Corey. At any point, if she said, that day when you told me, I play video games and now's the jumping off point if you're not down with it, has she ever held that over your head? I should have fucking left at that time. You told me.
No, she's not yet. She's not held it over my head yet.
Yeah, it's coming. Don't worry. All right, Joe, I'm afraid to ask this question to you.
I will. Well, it's pretty much me and the kids that play video games. The wife doesn't really have anything to do with it. So it's not like she doesn't support it. She doesn't really care as long as it doesn't get in the way of work or hanging out with the kids or anything like that. But, if it's a scary game, she doesn't want to be in the room. But if it's a non-scary game, then, she'll just do her own thing and chill on the couch and zone out on her phone or do whatever and just hear the background stuff. So she's cool. She just can't hang with the scary stuff. She got me the PS4 Pro, so she supports it to an extent,
Nice.
So when you're playing Resident Evil, then you're definitely alone in that room.
Oh, fuck. There's no way. I'm not even I wouldn't even like try and put it on with her around because I know she'd just be like, it's not even like that she would be scared around me. It's that she literally wouldn't be able to sleep that night. And she would just be like, Joe, I think I heard a noise. I need you to get up and go look. I'm like, fuck, I'm trying to sleep. God damn it.
I was up until 2:30 playing Resident Evil. I gotta go to sleep.
There's not a noise. Nicole, there's not a noise.
Jake?
I kind of, in the beginning, it was kind of like that Chaffee with, she'd hear the chime and be like, oh, geez. I'd rather play games than watch TV. I mean, that's my entertainment. Rather than watch shows, I play games. So... but it kind of moved along with what Juggler of Geese, Brian Young, had said. He said, she will now sit in the room and she's on her phone playing games or going through Facebook or social media and stuff. We'll sit down and watch a show for a while. And then when the show's over, she'll look at me and be like, do you want to play your games now? And I'd be like, I wouldn't mind. So then I start playing. And then with my granddaughter now being around.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
Your wife says to you, do you want to play some games now? And you're like, I wouldn't mind, and you grab the fucking Xbox controller.
Yes.
Oh.
Because that's what it means.
Have you ever tried it the other way?
Yes.
And stonewalled.
I end up watching, what was that show? We end up watching some chick flicks, so. But now I just play the games.
All right.
America's
But
next top
along those, with my granddaughter, we'll play Peggle, and my wife will play some Peggle, and there's a few games that she'll play. What's some of the others, like Feeding Frenzy and stuff like that. And Night Squad. That's one of the big ones now. My granddaughter really enjoys Night Squad, and my wife will play with us occasionally. Mostly it's Feeding Frenzy, Peggle. So that pretty much covers it for me. So it's not too bad. She lets me do the podcasts. So
no question of the week for next week, because we will be at PAX East, and we will be busy. And we were going to have like little daily episodes of all our stuff like we did last year, hopefully.
If we can sneak into that like hallway of that hotel and no one bothers us again.
Yeah.
Right. Well, actually, I think all we had to do was go to the media room and ask them to use the room next door.
Yep.
Oh, sweet.
That was locked.
Yep. So the question is unofficial. It's, will you be at PAX East and will we see you?
Yes, and will you buy me a drink?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's the big one right there. Yes.
That's a good question.
All right, we're going to take a little break here. Corey and I are going to come back in just a few minutes and talk about the Nintendo Switch and Zelda. So stay tuned for that. But first, a few words from our sponsors.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hey, Bocephus, is the junk in your house piling up?
Oh, yeah.
Is the pile so wide and deep you can measure your junk in inches?
Why, yes, it is.
Is your junk old and kind of sad?
Well, I guess.
Is your junk beginning to smell?
Hey.
Do you wish someone would just come over and grab your junk?
Why, yes, I do.
Following in the footsteps of successful sharing economy startups like Uber and Airbnb comes Grab My Junk, which connects junk havers with junk grabbers. Seconds after setting up your free profile, you can connect with thousands of registered users potentially interested in your junk, Bocephus.
My junk?
Oh, yeah. We all know a picture's worth 1,000 words, so Grab My Junk allows you to post a picture of your junk online, along with a brief description of its size, shape, and texture. With its sleek social media integration, Grab My Junk also gets your friends and family involved, messaging them directly on Twitter and Facebook, asking them if they'd like to see your junk. So stop being embarrassed about your junk and show it to the world, Bocephus. There's probably someone out there who wants it. GrabMyJunk.net. Put your junk in our hands.
All right, so I guess you and I should probably talk about this whole new Nintendo console everyone's been talking about, right?
Yeah, let's get switchy.
Oh, there you go. Fuck, where's my sound? There it is. I do have the much shorter one too. I should probably play that more. All right, so you got yours a while before you could actually even open the box, right?
Yeah, we should go into detail about this. So we both had delays due to, I think the way I understand it is Nintendo actually delivered some of these units, a majority of these units, to retailers on the day of the release. So I'm starting to put less blame on Amazon and Target. And so, yeah, I got mine. I was supposed to get it on Friday. I got it on Sunday. I didn't actually get to play it until Monday due to Sunday being a very busy day.
Well, I got a notification the day before launch from Target that it had shipped.
Yeah.
But that, like, also I was watching the tracking, and supposedly it arrived at a like a warehouse, a UPS warehouse, only like 40 minutes from my fucking house. It arrived there on like Friday, and I called and asked if I could go pick it up, and they're like, "Oh no, that's we can't do that." Blah blah blah. They came up with some bizarre excuse. So like I had to wait all weekend, knowing it was like a 40-minute drive away, and there's fucking nothing I could do about it.
Yeah, I think the most irritating thing, right, is you could have gone into Target and bought one maybe if you went there early, and Amazon was shipping them out or offering them day of release to the Amazon Prime Now members. So it did feel weird that even though we pre-ordered the day that you could make pre-orders, we weren't getting ours until a couple of days after, but other people could just roll up and get them.
Yeah, it was.
What are you going to do?
Yeah, it was a huge swift kick in the taint to everybody who pre-ordered. And you remember the days before pre-ordering. You remember the days of having to wait in line to fucking go in and buy a console. Like pre-ordering was supposed to remove that, for people who, are on the ball. And people who are on the ball just kind of got a little screwed. Not totally fucked over. Just a couple of days.
Just a couple of first world problems is what they like to call that, Corey.
Right. All right, so first and foremost, you and I both started playing it, I guess, on the same day. What do you think of the hardware? Let's talk about the Switch before we get right into Zelda.
I'm absolutely in love with the damn thing. I think I was blown away by how simple it is, and it just works. A lot of times we talk about PS4 and Xbox One, and we say we like the PS4 because you just put it on and you get right to your game, and the Xbox One is maybe a little bit more convoluted. This thing is even simpler, in my opinion.
It loads up fast. Like, I don't know if you've completely turned it off or not yet. Usually, it's easier to put it into sleep mode than totally shut it off.
Right.
But even when you turn it on from being completely off, it's on in 3 seconds. There's none of this half-hour fucking turning on period like with the Xbone.
Yes, I would agree with that. And I just was blown away by how small the docking thing was. I wasn't prepared for that. Maybe the pictures didn't do it justice, but the thing is fucking tiny. And I got to say, the gamepad feels incredible in my hand. I don't feel like I'm playing on something that is too small, like the Vita and the 3DS feel like to me at times. Never once did I go, I wish I was on a TV playing this. It just feels like a substantial piece of hardware in your hand, but not too heavy. It feels just right, and I think the screen is fantastic.
Yeah, that was the first thing I noticed when I opened the box after I fucking calmed down, after the UPS guy finally arrived. I did a total N64 kid, just fucking yes! But when I opened it, it was smaller than I'd anticipated. That's what she said. That's what we're missing here.
Yes.
But it was smaller than I thought it was going to be, even though I'd seen all those comparison pictures. But yeah, especially the fucking Joy-Cons. The Joy-Cons by themselves, they're so fucking small and they weigh nothing.
Yep. I haven't done any gaming yet with the Joy-Cons. I haven't put the kickstand up or anything like that and done any of that. I've certainly put them in my hand during some of the setup process that has you do things. And I could just tell that's not for me playing it that way. I prefer to have some sort of controller in my hand, whether that's the gamepad itself or, the grip, the dog grip, or the Pro Controller. I can't see myself doing a lot of gaming with just the Joy-Cons in my hands.
Yeah, I played the Snipper Clips, that demo, which is really short, by the way. It only lets you play 3 or 4 games. It's a 2-player game. I played those with just the Joy-Con, and my wife had the other Joy-Con, and it felt a little tiny. Like you say, it's probably not going to be a way I game very often. Maybe when I'm just on the go and I want to show it off to somebody else. But I agree with you. Feeling it in the dog head controller or attached to the side of the Switch is the way to go.
And I was surprised how good the dog thing feels, right? It doesn't feel, it didn't feel super, super light. It feels lighter than another controller, but there was nothing wrong with it. I was like, did I really need to order this Pro Controller? I didn't have any issues playing it with that way at all.
I felt it was a little lighter than I would like. I like my controllers to be a little more weighty. I'm used to having that chat pad at the bottom of my Xbox One controller.
Yep.
But it does the dog head connector thing makes the Joy-Cons a little bit heavier, and the thumbstick on the right hand side is lower than most thumbsticks I'm used to. So your right thumb is bent more often, and I thought that might get uncomfortable after a little while, but it really didn't bother me that much. It's more comfortable than it looks because it's very square when you get it. It doesn't look like any controller.
I would agree. It does look different, right? And it is. I don't know, you get it in your hand and it feels okay for me.
Yeah, it's also it dawned on me yesterday, and I looked online to confirm this, but it's the first time Nintendo's ever shipped a console and the controller that ships with it doesn't have a D-pad. There's no D-pad on it at all. I mean, not counting the little teeny micro one that kind of serves as like the start button. You know, that's not actually a functioning D-pad, but there's no D-pad at all anywhere on the Switch, which is weird. This is the first time that's ever happened with a Nintendo console.
Right, so there's no D-pad itself. It's just 4 buttons.
Right, it's like the C buttons from the N64 kind of. They're meant to be, you can use them as directional buttons, but it's not actually a real, like, trademark Nintendo D-pad.
Right. As I knock everything over.
But yeah, it's smaller than I thought. After looking online at everybody getting their gray ones and knowing that I had one on the way that had like the blue and the red, I was kind of regretting that. But then when it arrived, like, I'm so happy that I got the colored one. It feels, I don't know, it feels like a cool new toy. I'm pretty into it. I
love the weight of it, and I like the weight and the length, Corey. I'm a big fan of the weight and length.
You're nice and girthy?
Yeah, it feels awesome, man. I'm in love with it.
It's definitely going to be my primary on-the-go console now. Like, I don't know how much I'm going to be playing the 3DS at all anymore. So, like, whenever I go up to my parents' house in Maine, or like, I get to play on the go, it's definitely going to be with this console. But man, that digital eShop right now, that is pretty bare right now.
It is a wasteland.
It's like, I know people talk about how there's hardly any launch titles, and they're right. It doesn't bother me because I think Zelda is a game that's going to keep me occupied for a while. But you go into that eShop, and what is it, like 6 games? It's nothing.
Yeah.
It's so small.
It does crush your boner a little bit, and we all knew that going forward. So I wasn't crushed so much. What I will say though is, when you have a game that launches and it's getting the scores that it is, there should be no complaints, because otherwise, why are you buying this damn thing? You're not buying the Nintendo Switch to play Just Dance, or to play the Switch version of Shovel Knight, right? So I don't see anybody who has complaints. I mean, you're buying the Switch at launch because you want to play Zelda.
Yeah, it's not a great launch library, but it's got one of the best launch titles ever as far as a Nintendo console goes, in my opinion. I mean,
it's like some of maybe, sports fans out there, maybe it's like some of those early Red Sox teams where you had Ted Williams batting cleanup and you had a bunch of nobodies, 1 through 9, and Ted was in the middle. That's what this is sort of like. You got one great game that's getting unbelievable scores, and everything else is just kind of filler. Now, I'm not dissing on Shovel Knight. A lot of people hold that game in high regard, but no one has waited at home and go, well, I'm not playing Shovel Knight till the Switch comes out. No, you had fucking your chance to play Shovel Knight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and if I understand people out there saying, there's people out there who probably say, Zelda's not my thing. I'm not interested in the Zelda series, not the Zelda franchise. If that's the case, don't buy the Switch right now. Totally wait, because right now that is pretty much the only thing to play, but it's fucking great. And we should probably get into Zelda itself now, right?
I would think so. I mean, I just real quick about the system. It was very easy to set up. It just works. HDMI cable, a small power outlet. There's no big brick or anything like that. And the cradle itself is very small. You could fit it in a lot of places. So, again, impressed with that. But yes, let's move on to Zelda.
Yeah, it like you said, I should mention, I agree with you as far as the cradle goes. It fits where I had my Wii much better than my Wii or my Wii U did. I like how it fits. And, no big power brick.
The one complaint I have is I have this side table on the side of my desk where I house all my consoles. And I can't display the proper side of the cradle that says Nintendo Switch and has like the little power thing. Because all my cables feed out the back, like to the left, and then down to the power outlet. So if I did that, if I put it the proper way, my cables would have to come out the right side.
I had to do a little bit of rearranging so that the Switch could face forward, but it does look pretty sweet. I'm glad that I did that.
Yeah, I currently haven't invested any time in that, but that's, the one complaint I have now. I have the cradle actually in backwards.
Now, as far as Zelda goes, how many other past Zelda titles have you played?
You really want to know the answer?
I do, yes.
Since the NES was the only one I played.
Original Legend of Zelda?
Mm-hmm.
Did you play Zelda 2?
The only other thing I've played is Hyrule Warriors.
Oh, yeah. Hyrule Warriors is about as annoying as Navi.
That was the Wii U version thing, right? Like the Dynasty Warriors with Zelda.
Yes, it was essentially Dynasty Warriors.
Yep. For a long time, Corey, I had a big hang-up on Zelda-like games. And I think certainly, through the last couple of years, I've gotten over that by playing, The Witcher, Fallout, Horizon Zero Dawn, and really gravitating to those types of games. So that's what sold me on, getting this. But yeah, honestly, I have never played any other Zelda game since the NES.
Well, honestly, there is a Zelda series and everybody likes all their different Zelda games, but the timeline, as far as the timelines go, really doesn't matter because I don't know how much you know about the timeline, but it's so fucking convoluted. The timeline, all the games are in different order. They don't come out in order. I think Skyward Sword is essentially canonically the first one. It's very bizarre. And the end of Ocarina actually splits the timeline into 3 timelines, and there's one where Link loses. There's one where Link wins, and it's the adult timeline, and there's one where Link wins, and it's the child timeline. It's very strange. So, if you've never played any of the other ones, it's not like you're missing anything because it's just all the characters essentially resurrected, and that adventure usually doesn't have much to do with any of the previous adventures.
In the modern era, let's say, for lack of a better term on my part, let's say we going forward, is there a Zelda game that's a must-have?
From the Wii on?
From the Wii on, yeah, because I don't have anything else. I have the Wii U, and now the Switch.
I'm kind of my taste in Zelda is a little odd. It's not, I don't share the same taste as a lot of people with Zelda. A lot of people put Ocarina up there. And actually, I really don't like Ocarina that much. I know that's kind of blasphemy for some Zelda fans. But some of my favorite Zeldas were on the DS and the 3DS. I fucking loved Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks. Those were the 2 Toon Link games after Wind Waker. And I really, really loved Link Between Worlds. If you haven't played that, I highly recommend that. That's probably one of my favorite Zeldas of all time.
So it sounds like you have a lot of time invested in this universe. What is your, after the boner subsides a little bit and it's just, hanging there a little bit, it's just a chub now at this point.
Like a windsock.
Yeah. And you fired this up. What's your initial impressions?
Well, I've played it probably between 4 and 5 hours, so I'm a little ways into this world. I'm figuring out how things work. But the more that I play it, the more I'm starting to think that this may be my favorite Zelda game. And I know that's like a lofty thing to say, and a lot of people were touting that, but I can start to see why people are saying that as far as it being their favorite Zelda game. It's a giant world. It feels like an alive world. I know people have heard that about open world games, but I mean, any of the other Zelda games that kind of claim to be open world never really were. They never really felt like it. They were just kind of different areas held together with tiny corridors like Ocarina. This one feels like a wide open space, and I love the amount of survival stuff they have in it because everybody knows, who listens to this that knows that I'm like a sucker for survival games. But they keep what's fun about survival games, and they don't have any of the grief of survival games. Like, you're not going to starve to death. You cook to, you cook things to make, what would you say, to get like boosts, speed boosts or boosts in areas like, so you don't freeze to death, stuff like that. Have you done any of the cooking?
I have not. So I'm probably maybe about an hour and a half in to maybe 2, somewhere between an hour and 2 hours.
Oh, I love the cooking. I grabbed the sound, actually. So, you can collect a bunch of food and you learn recipes just by experimentation. So, if you bake an apple, it's going to give you more life than if you eat a raw apple. But if you bake an apple and you put, a hot pepper with it, that means that not only will you gain some life, but you'll resist cold for a certain amount of time. So you can go in cold areas, which would normally take life away from you.
No, I'm assuming that's going to come up at some point, like a tutorial, like the other stuff in the beginning. Well, I'm not just going to get that in my menu at some point, am I? Or
well, I don't know if there's a direct tutorial as far as cooking goes. I can't remember. there's nothing as extensive as the beginning. The beginning shows you the basic controls and that's it. But you know how if you happen upon a weapon or an object that you don't know of yet, when you first see it, it just gives you question marks.
Right.
And then you pick it up. So like when you pick up one of the hot peppers, it says like you can eat this or you can combine it with meat or something like that, and it'll explain to you. So each different ingredient you find will kind of give you a clue as to what it could do, but you actually have to experiment with yourself to figure out all those things.
Okay. One thing before we get too far on in the game itself, I want to kind of incorporate the Switch with the game. Have you played it in the handheld versus the TV?
I did that for the first time today. Which one do you prefer?
I prefer the handheld.
Do you?
I think it looks better on the handheld. I know the handheld is not. I think the handheld is 720p. The TV is like 900p.
Yeah.
I just think it looks crisper, and I just feel more immersed when I'm holding it there in my hand and playing it. I don't have a problem with the TV. I got the Pro Controller today in the mail, so that's why I was playing a little bit on the TV this afternoon. It just looks like a little washed out a little, maybe. It doesn't look as good.
Yeah, it's obvious. I don't want to get into graphics. I hate people who are graphics whores,
Right.
but it's not the most beautiful game in the world. Like when you're climbing up the rocks, when the camera's really close to the rocks, it doesn't look like the most powerful fucking computer or console out there. But I mean, I like the visual art style, but yeah, it does have like a kind of not quite a sepia tone to it, but a bit of a washed out look. I can see that.
Yeah, and the Pro Controller, just real quick, was felt good weight to it, responsive. The buttons aren't in any weird places to me, so no complaints there.
Any complaint about? I know like you said, the button orientation's a little bit different than when you play with the the Joy-Cons or whatever. Any problem switching back and forth from Pro Controller to that when you play?
No, the only issue I have overall is why do the buttons got to be named? Now the buttons and the face buttons, they're named the same, but why they got to be in different spots? So like B and A versus Y and X, they're inverted right to what we're used to. But
oh yeah,
that just takes a little bit of time, and then you're on your way. But no complaints whatsoever with the going back and forth. Seems fine.
Yeah, whenever it tells me to hit the X or Y button, I always have to look down at the controller because I'm like, fucking, you're not where you should be as far as the Xbox goes. So that throws me off. It also throws me off a little bit that jump is the top face button rather than, where the A is on the Xbone controller. So that took me a little while to get used to. You can switch it in the options, and I did, but then that fucked me up too. So I just switched it back.
And real quick, before we get back to Zelda, I love the screen sharing button right on the controllers. So whether you're using the left Joy-Con or using the Pro Controller, you get that screenshot button. Couldn't be any easier. Puts it in your photo album, and then you go back later. If you have your social media accounts linked, boom, it goes right out like PlayStation. Could not be any easier.
Yeah, to take screenshots was super simple. I did it accidentally like the first 2 times because I'm just like, oh, what does this button do? Shit. But yeah, it works really, really well. And if anybody has to review a game on this console, taking screenshots for yourself rather than trying to look on Google for them is going to be a breeze. So that's always awesome.
And I think video's coming later, but right now it's just photos.
Oh, cool. I didn't know the videos are coming. Now, I don't want to go into the story too much. We're both pretty early into it, so.
Well, help me out here with some Zelda stuff. Is it always no voice? It's always just dialogue?
Typically, yeah. Most game, I mean, you'll get the link like like sound effects.
Right. Yep.
But most of the time, it is everything is all written. I guess it's a very mild spoiler, but there is some talking in the game. I just encountered that today. Like, I guess it's technically a cutscene, but it still looks in game because they use the same engine and everything. But one of the characters actually did talk. I almost said cock. One of the characters cocked. But yeah, one of the characters talked, and I was like, oh, whoa, I wasn't used to that. So yeah, anybody who hasn't played a Zelda game, yeah, most of the dialogue is going to be written. When you very first start, just like almost every other Zelda game, it starts with you hearing, open your eyes, because you usually get woken up in almost every single Zelda game. That's how they usually start.
Right.
I may not be correct about this one, but I'm pretty sure every other Zelda game lets you rename the hero whatever you want. This one doesn't. You were named Link right out of the gate, like whether you like it or not. You're Link. So, which didn't bother me because I always name my character Link anyway. But it's one of the first ones I played where you can't rename them.
So, what else you're digging about it?
I really like the world. I wish you could repair weapons. I haven't been able to. I guess you can't repair weapons. You use weapons, they degrade after a little while, and then they just break in combat. But there are a lot of weapons strewn about that you find. You can carry quite a few at once. So, like, as soon as one breaks, you can just grab whatever the next one is. What I don't know what else to talk about.
Like the combat felt fluid. You know, I like the traversal. Like, you can get around and pretty much climb a lot of stuff, climbing, up the side of, buildings or the towers, obviously. The swimming felt good.
Yeah, you can climb like anything pretty much. I don't think I've encountered a surface I couldn't climb. And have you discovered any of those, kakiris, I think they're called, the little guys that are hidden all over the place?
They're like originally like purple and then they turn gold after you beat all the enemies around them? Is that what you're talking about?
No, these are these little guys. They're like the little sprites from the Kokiri Forest. They look like these little leaf guys. And like if you'll see this little cloud of looks like petals floating around. And if you go up to and examine it, one of these guys will appear and say, "Yo, you found me," and he'll give you like this little. It's not a Deku nut. I don't remember what it's called, but he'll vanish. So those are like the hidden things around the world, I guess. So if you explore weird areas that you're curious about whether or not you can get to, almost always you'll find one of those guys, and they'll give you one of these nuts.
The one thing I'm struggling with is it really seems open world, right? And so I got the towers unlocked, and I'm going up there, and I've gone to the first. Would I be calling these dungeons?
Like shrines.
No, shrines.
Yeah,
so I've gone to the first shrine, and now I'm supposed to go find some other shrines so I can earn some sort of
a paraglider?
Yes. And so the guy's like telling me to go look up the tower and go look on the map and then find them. Well, I didn't see anything on the map that stood out like the shrines. Did you? Am I missing something?
When I first encountered that part and he told me use your whatever it's called, like your binocular thing to look around, I was looking for other towers, and the shrines themselves are those low things that are just like a kind of a orangey red color. And it took me a little while, but I did find them. That whole part is meant to teach you how to put stamps on the map.
Right, I knew how to do that, but I didn't see any orange things. I guess I'll go back and look.
They're both kind of up high on mountains, like in snowy areas.
Are they in the same plateau, or are they in all different parts of the map?
Like if you can, the very beginning of the map, like it's whatever you want to call it, the plateau, which is quite sizable, and it's just like a very small portion of the map when you zoom way out. It's up by a lake, and I think one's on one end of the lake and one's on the other. So not too tough to find. I do like the whole thing about how the map is pretty much blank. Like they put things you've gone to, like shrines or towers you've raised. But it doesn't have tons of question marks and all these crazy things like The Witcher or something would have. But you can place stamps yourself. Like when you find a pot to cook in, you can place a stamp there to remember it, or you don't have to place one there, which is cool.
One thing, the more I play it, and I'm thinking, shit, if this was on the Wii U, it'd be really cool to have the second screen, right? This is a game that the more I play it and I'm in the menus a lot, man, that second screen would have come in handy. And I'm curious if they take advantage of that with the Wii U at all. If Joe gets it, he'll have to let us know. But you do spend a sizable amount of this time in the UI, in the menu. Like you said, cooking stuff, which I haven't done yet, but I'm always looking at the map. I'm always checking my inventory and things of that nature. So it's one of those games where, maybe the Wii U would have made sense with, the second screen.
Yeah, I'm curious about how they use it too, whether they use it at all. Maybe it's just left blank and you can switch and actually play the entire game on the gamepad, maybe? I don't know.
I would imagine. I mean, they're trying to kill that thing off, right? I can't imagine them taking the time to make a game that has all those other features on that system.
Yeah, I mean, I bet it probably used it. One thing that does remind me of the Wii U is when you're aiming with the bow and arrow, you can use the if you move the controller a little bit, kind of like in Splatoon, you can fine tune your aim. like motion control kind of.
Right.
Like angle it forward, angle it backwards, which I didn't like at first, but I have been using more. I've been using the arrow, and I know the Wii U did that with certain games.
So kind of want to wrap this up here. Don't want to belabor the point too much. My initial impressions, I could not be more impressed with the system itself. As far as Zelda, I am enjoying it. I just think it's going to be a game that's going to be a little bit more difficult for me. I'm not sure if that's because I have a mental block because I haven't played that much of the series, like I admitted. So I'm just trying to, get acclimated to things and how it's done. But overall, the game is very fun, and I can easily see people just losing themselves in that game. And they say, about 100 hours is typical gameplay?
Yeah, I think like critical path is between 50 and 70, and if you want to do like everything, it can be upwards of 100, which is fucking crazy.
And so what are your impressions?
I really like the way it feels. The controls in an adventure game, like a third-person game like this, are always different in Nintendo. So some of the controls have taken me a little, it takes a little bit of getting used to. But also, this is a brand new console, so I'm getting used to a brand new console in addition to a Nintendo-controlled game. So like switching between weapons and like jumping and dodging, it takes a little getting used to. But I love it. It's one of those games that when I'm not playing it, I'm thinking about playing, and I want to be able to get back and play it. It's a world I could definitely lose myself in. And I'm pretty happy with what they did with the series. It's kind of what I wanted from a 3D Zelda, very, very open and not a ton of hand-holding. So it's just such bizarre timing. Like, I don't know how the hell you're going to play Horizon Zero Dawn and this game.
Well, it's a weird situation I'm in right now. You know what I'm saying? I want to be fucking playing on the Switch, but I want to be playing Horizon Zero Dawn on the Switch. And that is something to be said for the device itself. Now, whether the device can run games like that, time will only tell. But I do feel like, man, they give me something along the lines of Horizon Zero Dawn and Fallout, Witcher, something like that on there. Oh, I'd be in heaven playing it on the Switch.
It does feel really good as both a, sit on your couch and look in the TV console and on the go. Like, I can't wait until it's not frigid outside when I can like lay in my hammock and play this. This is going to be so great.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a game that you would play like first-person shooters on as far as multiplayer. Anything campaign related, I think you'd be okay. I mean, I don't think it's a unit that you'd play competitive multiplayer games on.
Well, I mean, there is Splatoon 2 and Mario Kart, so that would be a totally different vibe, though, from what we're
right. I'm thinking
now.
More like Battlefield 1 and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And none of us have tested out the battery life, right?
Well, I did take it to work today. I got to play it for maybe a little over an hour and a half. I put it in airplane mode and I turned the screen brightness down a little bit. I didn't see the number of what the battery got down to, but when I got home and I put it on the dock, it charged super quick. It was back up to 100 in just minutes, not very long at all.
So I'm hearing that you can let the thing sit in the charge for a while and take it out, and it could be around 88%. That there's something in there that sort of lowers the battery life right off the bat because maybe they don't want this thing running, like full power and burning up and blowing up or something like that. Just for some of the other podcasts that I've been listening to, they noticed that, like, hey, this thing was in there overnight, and I take it out and it's at 88%. And some of the other guys were like, yeah, I think that's because they don't want you, this thing running really super long and, dying on you or something like that.
It does get warm. When I played it for 2.5 hours or so the first night, and when I got up and I shut it off, I just took it out of the cradle just to caress it a little bit because I was just so happy with my new toy. And it felt warm, kind of surprisingly warm, made me a little bit worried. But I mean, I haven't noticed any problems. It's not clear about, there's a little green light in the bottom left-hand corner that comes on. I don't know if the light comes on when it's charging and then goes off when it's fully charged. I don't know if that's because the outlet I have it plugged in might be a little bit dodgy. Some of the wiring in this house is a little fucked up. So I don't know if it's maybe not getting electricity the entire time. I don't know. I haven't figured that part out yet. And when you opened your box, did you have a booklet explaining everything? I didn't see any instructions
on the box.
In mine. Oh, yeah. Well, besides that, box.
No, that's where it is. That's where it's built into the box.
Yeah, so there wasn't a ton of instruction with it because, like you said, it's very sleek and like minimalistic, almost like an interface for like an Apple device.
Yep. Yeah, the instructions are just all built into the box. So that's the way the Pro Controller is too. No instructions. It's built on the back of the box of the instructions.
Just open and go.
You open and go. And the Pro Controller and the device, they're using this new form of USB-C.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's getting more popular these days.
Yeah, I'm actually considering buying the Pro Controller, not because I don't like the dog head, but just because if I do that, I'll never have to take the Joy-Cons on and off. I can just leave them on while I play. So that's the only reason I may pick that up.
Cool. And no desync issues, right?
I haven't tried to make it happen, but no, I mean, I'm sitting, 10 feet from my TV. Like, I haven't had any desync problems whatsoever. So.
And did you taste it? Or you have digital, so you didn't have a chance to do any taste testing.
I have not, no. But I did have the one problem I had with the controller is I was playing Snipper Clips or whatever that demo is called, and that's when you have the Joy-Cons sideways. And we finished playing that. My wife went upstairs to get our daughter ready for bed. I was going to go upstairs and read her a story. Before I went up there, I put the Joy-Cons back in the dog head thing, and it didn't automatically switch back to knowing that it was the dog head. It still acted as though I had two different controllers. So it assumed the controllers were sideways. So when I was back in the UI, I'm trying to move the cursor around, but it's moving it in the incorrect direction because it's assumed I'm still using it sideways. So I don't know if there's just a way I'm missing that you're supposed to go in and tell it, okay, now I'm using the controller this way. Mm-hmm. It didn't correct until I went up and I attached them both to the Switch itself, and then it corrected it.
Now, what are these other things, like the little things you put around your wrist, a little extra, they give you like little bumpers?
Oh, yeah, that's just I think that's for when you're playing a game like 1-2 Switch or something along the lines of like a Wii-type title, so you don't sling it into your TV.
But it also gives a little bit more width to the Joy-Cons, so they're not so small.
Right, and yeah, there's little buttons on top of it that just push through to push the buttons underneath, almost like an iPhone case. When you want to hit those buttons.
So just real quick, a PSA. There's the way you're supposed to hook these things on that maybe isn't the most intuitive way, and there's tons of videos out there of people putting them on wrong, and they can't get them off. And there's videos of them trying to pry the things off their Joy-Cons. So I've been leery of putting these things on the Joy-Con.
Me too. I have not tried it at all. I'm pretty sure there's like a plus and a minus you can see, and I think you're supposed to sync those up. I think the plus is supposed to is on the little whatever you want to call it, the thing with the wrist strap. I think that plus is supposed to align with the plus on the Joy-Con, but you can flip it around. So you just have to make sure it's flipped the correct way to slide it on. But I'm with you. Like, I'm terrified that I'll put it on and just totally fuck it up. So I haven't done it.
Yeah, it's like a $79 mistake right there.
Right.
But anyways, we're going to leave you guys with those impressions. I think both of us are satisfied with our purchases. I bet Corey is going to play many hours of Zelda, and I will be playing here and there in between Horizon Zero Dawn and everything else that shows up at my doorstep these days. But can't wait to try out many of the other games that are coming out in the coming days and weeks.
Yeah, most definitely. So, if anybody is waiting to buy this and they want to play Zelda, I recommend it. If you're leery about only having Zelda to play, which I don't understand why you would, it's a 100-hour game, then go ahead and wait. It's not a bad idea to wait if you're looking to play something else.
All right, we'll leave it at that. All right, hope you guys enjoyed all that Switch talk. It is great to have another console in our arsenal of games and things we play. But now let's bring Joe back into the show here. Joe, last week you played some games, didn't get a chance to talk about them because you had to bail a little early. Mm-hmm. But you're back, and let's hear about what you've been playing.
All right. Let's talk.
Yes.
It's great to be back, I've been playing a couple games here. So the first one would be Pokemon Go. They did a huge update. They introduced the I guess you call them like second season of Pokemon, the second generation Pokemon, the Pokemon that were introduced in the game Pokemon Gold or Silver. And it's really cool finally having some new shit to go around and pick up. They introduced new berries that have different attributes and different functions, as well as just little improvements here and there.
It was like
I've been having
80 Pokemon, wasn't it? Like a ton they added.
Yeah. I was going to actually ask Corey, have you had a chance to fire it up, or have you had any interest since this update?
It's still on my phone. I haven't brought myself to delete it yet, but I think I'm pretty much done with Pokemon Go. It was a great summer.
Still a everyday thing for me, man.
I'm playing Mario Run still. That's
what I just wanted to talk. We have yet to talk about this game. We talked about it very briefly before it came out about the price, and Jay said he wasn't going to pay for it and things like that, and we never circled back to it for whatever reason. But just real quick, can both of you guys talk about your experiences with Super Mario Run and if you enjoyed it?
Yeah, go ahead, Joe.
I only played the demo. I did not actually buy it. And what I did play with it was fun, but it ended up just being, like a runner, and I just didn't want to put the $10 into it. We were also pretty broke at the time that it came out because, like I had alluded to, financially, the tattoo apprenticeship was also kind of busting my ass, and so I just didn't really want to put the $10 towards that at the time, and we have remedied that now that we're both working full time on eBay, and I've definitely considered it, and I know that our kids, or at least Des, wants to play it when we're out and about. But yep, that's where we're at.
My daughter, she's 3. Whenever she is on the potty, whenever she is taking a shit, she always wants to watch Mario. She's like, Mario, let's play Mario. Whenever she's on the shitter, every time. That girl. Yeah. I shelled out the $10 for it. I don't regret it. I do still check in and play it every day. I beat the campaign relatively quickly, like within a day or two. The most appealing part about it was the rally, where you could like race other people and win. It was like a gamble. You could lose citizens of your kingdom or gain the citizens. Mm-hmm. I frustratingly suck at the rally. Like every time I lose almost every time. And whenever you like replay them, they don't perform the same way, which is weird. It seems arbitrary who wins almost, because you don't just win for collecting the most coins. You win for like, they give you like some sort of style points that they don't say what they are. So I don't know. I'm starting to lose steam with the game. I'm probably just playing it now because I want to fucking play the Nintendo Switch. But I feel like you mentioned, it's kind of a one-trick pony, and it doesn't take long before you see everything the game has to offer. And it seems like Nintendo was just throwing it out there, getting their feet wet in the mobile scene. So it doesn't seem like they're going to support it much. So I'll probably stop playing it soon. But yeah,
that was a summer game, right?
It wasn't. It was
late summer, early fall.
Yeah, probably fall, I think.
So that's still. Hey, now it's almost spring, so you got a lot of for a mobile title. That's fantastic.
True. That's true. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, let's get back to Joe. I didn't mean to derail the convo, but I know we never talked about it.
Totally cool. So anyways, Pokemon Go has been great. Corey, you should definitely be firing it out because it'll absolutely suck you back in like it did in the summer.
It probably would.
It totally would. Trust me on that. And then as for real games, I've been... I fired up Rainbow Six Siege on the PC. I alluded to that at the end of the show last week. It's been great. I haven't had any shitty experiences like I did the last time when I first installed it. This was inspired by all the people in our Discord chat that are like in a Rainbow Six Siege clan on the PS4, though, so I don't get to really play with them, unfortunately. Man, it's a good game. It's a great first-person shooter. I'm trying to get my bearings back in the game and really get good at it again.
It seems really Counter-Strikey. Like it seems very, very Counter-Strikey. Am I wrong in thinking that?
No, you're not wrong in thinking that. It has like hostage scenarios. It has plant the bomb scenarios, defuse the bomb scenarios. So that's all pretty Counter-Strikey, and it's not like old Rainbow Six games where you're plotting out the path and setting your NPC member. What do you call it? Like your NPC team members.
Yeah.
You're not like coordinating them for flanking your opposition and anything like that, because you're playing on an actual team of all people, and so you can't control what everybody else is doing. And yeah, so it's good. It's pretty fun, and I'm enjoying the little bit of time I get here and there with that. But right now, video game time is a little bit tight, just because with eBay, the more work you put into it, the more money you make. And we're trying to go to Disneyland at the end of this month, so we're kind of just like super cracking down on busting ass on eBay 100% of the time that we're awake, pretty much, unless the kids are awake and demanding our time.
A real quick eBay question for you.
All right.
Do you notice that your sales, do they come from a certain region of the country? Because I got to be honest, and Corey and Jay, you can answer this as well. It has been years since I bought anything off eBay, and I'm wondering. And I hear lots of people like yourself selling things on eBay, but I don't hear too many people say, "Oh, I picked this up off eBay." Is there a certain part of the country where eBay is still big, or your sales are all over the place?
It's pretty all over the place. I do notice a lot coming from actually your area, which is funny, like the Boston area.
Really?
Yeah, tons of people in Boston. Tons of people. I guess I don't necessarily notice that there's a lot of people from California. I just notice every time it's California because it's the cheapest. It's the cheapest amount of shipping that I have to pay when I'm sending shit out. So that's always notable because, like, yeah, I have to pay less for that one. And then sometimes Florida and then Midwest. But, there's people everywhere. People are just buying shit all over the place. And I think also, since we have our YouTube channel that has a pretty big following at this point, I'd say a huge amount of our sales go to people that follow us. And so that's really convenient and something that isn't necessarily typical for everybody else that sells on eBay.
So there's like a very large community of people out there who appreciate the fact that you are a buyer and a reseller. They think that's really great then, right? I mean, because I think it's really cool. I don't know about how anybody else feels, but I really appreciate people who do that.
Putting food on the table for your family.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my job. That's how I make ends meet. That's how I keep a roof over my head. That's how I feed my kids.
Yeah.
And thinking that that's a terrible thing is just ridiculous. You've got to be an idiot to think that.
I know. Fuck anybody who thinks that.
I agree.
And if Sean was here, he would agree too.
It's true.
Poor Sean. We miss you, Sean.
We do.
But we're going to see him this Friday, gentlemen, or Thursday for Corey.
Hey, you know what's cool?
Yes.
Sorry, I totally blew you off. Or interrupted you.
You did? Really?
Fucked up.
I missed that.
He had all that momentum right there.
Yeah, I fucked your momentum up. Sean watches my YouTube channel.
He does.
And he gives me feedback, and I really appreciate that.
Sean and Corey are going to play footsies on Thursday night together. They have a pajama party.
We're playing more than footsies.
1-2 switch, getting hitched.
As soon as he gets here, we're going to get him so drunk. I want to get that motherfucker so drunk.
Guy's going to be hurting Friday morning.
Mm-hmm.
Did we go over Resident Evil 7 already, Joe, or no?
No, not yet.
All right.
I got to put like 2 hours of time into Resident Evil 7, and it was really fun. And they introduced something that I did not expect into the game, to where they kind of made it like a puzzle game. So, I mean, Resident Evil always has these kind of like puzzles, where you're grabbing stuff and you're finding something in another part of the mansion, bringing it to this part of the mansion, and finding, pieces of this sconce with a dog head. That way you can put it all together and unlock a door. But this part of the game was like a flashback, and it ended up being this weird puzzle where I'm going all around and I'm solving actual puzzles. And it was super brutal and unexpected. I mean, I was halfway through it, I was able to guess exactly what was going to happen, but from that point to what happened was a total mystery still. And they executed it very well. And I am really excited to keep going forward. And I hope that they have maybe another one or two more instances like this in the game. It definitely kind of broke things up and made it really fun. Also, I just want to mention that spending a week and a half away from that game and then going back makes it really fucking hard to get back into the game, because that game relies on you knowing the layout of that mansion that you're in. That way you can escape the enemies or like go hide in your safe house and get the gnarly like creepers and the guy that has a big fucking axe that's chasing you off of your ass. And if you're not sure where to go because you haven't played it in a week and a half, that's pretty rough. So that's where I'm at. Hopefully,
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I was going to ask you that.
Yeah, so hopefully I get back to it before it's been a week and a half. But, what can you do?
All right, Corey. We know the Switch and Zelda are on the mind and playing those. But besides those, what have you been up to?
Not a whole lot. Just mine is very short, very sweet. Ark, won't bore anybody else with that. I'll talk about Ark when Sean gets here. I'll get all my Ark talk out when he gets here. And Rocket League on the Xbox One. That's pretty much it for me. So, and you guys just heard me drone on for who knows how long about Switch, so I won't bore anybody else.
All righty. Cool. Well, let's move along here with the show. Next up is some of the notable releases of the week. Let's see. We have Disc Jam, which is on the PS4. We have Lego Worlds, Nier Automata, and Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands.
Now, Joe, were you cheering on the PS4 or were you cheering on Disc Jam?
Disc Jam.
Did you? Yeah, I've seen the trailer. It looks pretty fun. It looks like it's a potential to be a lot of fun. I've never played it though.
And it is free this month.
Yeah, I'll definitely get it.
Yeah, it's basically like a modern, fancy version of Windjammers, and it's kind of getting the Rocket League treatment, because a week or so ago they just put out a closed beta for it, where it was, hardly of a closed beta. All you had to do was just go on their website and sign up for it, and you got a key. But people signed up for it, they got their keys, and they tested it, and then all of a sudden this next week they're like, hey, it's coming out on this next PS4 fucking PS Plus release.
Yeah,
so.
To throw a reference out that I don't know if anybody else will get, and to totally date myself, but it reminded me of Super Spike V-Ball, if anybody remembers that on the NES.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Yes, it looks as fun as that, and that game was a lot of fun. If you haven't played it, fuck you for being younger than me, and you should go play it.
All right, let's get into the news, shall we, gentlemen?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Ghost Recon Wildlands Season Pass has been detailed. There's going to be a free PvP mode coming after launch, which is going to be 4v4 mode. This is coming out this week. I don't think any of you guys are picking this up, right?
Yeah, bad timing as far as I'm concerned.
Bad timing, yeah.
Yeah.
Nope.
So as far as the free post-launch content, again, a PvP mode featuring tactical class-based 4v4 team combat that will put players' skills to the test. It'll be rolled out a few months after launch. So maybe after you guys have finished Zelda and Horizon Zero Dawn, you might be biting on some Ghost Recon Wildlands. Let's follow this news story up with another one, and this time Ubisoft has pissed off the country of Bolivia.
The whole country.
I'm curious to see what Corey has to say about this one. So Bolivia has filed an official formal complaint with the French embassy over Ghost Recon Wildlands, which is, of course, a third-person shooter set in a fictionalized near-future version of the country of Bolivia that's fallen under the control of the Santa Blanca drug cartel. According to Reuters, Bolivia has called on the French government to intervene and said it reserves the right to take legal action on its own if it doesn't receive a satisfactory response. It says, we have the standing to take legal action, but at first we prefer to go the route of diplomatic negotiation. What do you think of that, Corey?
Now, well, before we get started, I'm just curious as to why you want my opinion. Am I like the Bolivia guy? Like,
yes, when I close my eyes at night and think of all the hot Bolivian men, you're the first one that comes up. No, I just figured that this was a funny story and you're a funny guy and you'd have a fucking funny response.
All right, good. Because, well, although I wouldn't have minded being in that category, but I'll handle knowing that I'm not. But it's just so ridiculous that the entire country is officially pissed. They filed official paperwork as far as the game goes, that they better correct this. And I haven't played the game, but I'm sure that they have one of those disclosures that say in the beginning, this is not based on anything in reality. Anything what you guys know the warning I'm talking about that says it's it's a coincidence if this is based on anything in reality. So
just like this podcast.
Exactly. So it's just completely ludicrous, and I think it's funny that a government has the luxury of getting upset about how it's portrayed in a video game. Right here, our country is being made great again, and we have all these other things to worry about. So I think it would be nice.
Obama has tapped these lines that we're on right now. So,
well, if he tapped Skype, he fucked it up because it's being a real pain in the ass tonight. Thanks, Obama.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's funny that an entire country's government is upset at a Tom Clancy game.
The majority vote. Let's go after Ubisoft, guys.
Wasn't Russia pissed at Modern Warfare 2? The whole airport scene?
No Russian? Yeah, the whole no Russian scene.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways.
I wonder if Bolivia is hella pissed off at Wu-Tang Clan from back in the day then.
Not letting that grudge go.
Yeah, when they were like, raw, I'm going to give it to you with no trivia. Raw like cocaine straight from Bolivia. I wonder if they were hella pissed at that.
Well, it is Wu-Tang. You got to respect them.
It's true. You got to protect your neck.
They ain't nothing to fuck with.
So Mass Effect Andromeda, if you can believe it, is another game that's coming out this month. The multiplayer, a bunch of us played back in Mass Effect 3 days. And there was rumored to be a beta for the multiplayer, but that has been officially canceled. Fernando Mello, who works at BioWare, came out with some tweets. Sorry, we won't have a multiplayer technical test. I know many were looking forward to it. Long story, but right decision for how close we are to launch. Multiplayer has the most extensive user testing we've ever done. Plus Game Changers program and retail console closed alpha earlier in the new year. Multiplayer is still very alive and awesome. You'll see more soon, including play at PAX. And still fully available on EA Origin Access ahead of launch. They sent out some screenshots and showed you how you could update your characters and things like that, and some characters that are available, so it looks pretty slick. We'll see if any of us bites on this March 21st.
Yeah, you guys were pretty into that multiplayer for a while. What was that? Was that Mass Effect 3 or 2?
360 days.
Yeah.
Mass Effect 3, yep. Way back then. Ubisoft has announced that they are working on an Avatar game. So the studio that worked on The Division is now working on another title. And that is Massive is the name of the studio. So they are working with the power of Massive Snowdrop game engine and the team's passion and an obsessive focus on detail. We know they are the right group to bring the beauty and danger of Pandora to life, says the movie's director James Cameron.
It's good timing, too. It's only, 8 years after that movie came out?
It's out of the blue, right? But hasn't he always talked about a game that did the movie justice?
It only took 8 years, I guess.
Yeah.
Out of the blue.
Moving on, the PlayStation Plus games that are available for the month of March. We already talked about Disc Jam on the PS4. Tearaway Unfolded on the PS4 as well. Under Night in Birth on the PS3. Earth Defense Force 2025 on PS3. Lumo, which is on the PS Vita, cross-buy on the PS4, and Severed on the PS Vita.
Now, I can't...
If you still have a Vita, that's the game to get.
There's no backwards compatibility as far as PS3 and PS4 goes, right?
No.
Okay, like because I know on the as far as Xbox goes, like even if it's a 360 game that's free, you can get that on the one, but there's nothing equal to that as far as Sony goes, right?
Only with cross-buy. So if it's a cross-buy title, you should be able to play it on both.
Yeah, because EDF looks really cool, and I missed out playing EDF, so I'm kind of sad that I can't get it for the PS4.
But I would check out that Severed game. That would be something you might enjoy. Do you have a Vita?
I do not have a Vita.
Oh, you're okay. Never mind then. Fuck everything I just said. Injustice 2. So I had a birthday party at my house today for my 12-year-old son, and him and his friends were playing the first Injustice, which is a great fighting title. But Injustice 2, man, looks phenomenal. Now, I know it's not the right universe for you, Joe. I know that you're a Marvel guy, and this is DC.
Ain't that the truth?
Nah, you know you like some DC stuff. Swamp Thing, come on.
Swamp Thing's tight. Well, actually, Swamp Thing's supposed to be in this game, right?
Right, yeah.
All right, then I'll play it once it comes free again.
I mean, I like Batman.
Begrudgingly.
So it's got some RPG-like abilities by some of the screenshots that you can see. Some things that you can upgrade, stats and things like that. You can customize your characters. Looks like there's a screen there where they show Harley Quinn. And you can do all sorts of, give her all sorts of colors and materials of the clothing and stuff like that.
Can you take her bullshit ass out of the game entirely?
No, Joe.
What?
Then it's not that good of a game.
What is your problem with Harley Quinn? Are you high? Come on.
Hella sucks.
My 13-year-old self, my 13-year-old libido would fight you as far as that's concerned.
I think I can take it.
Probably, yeah.
So Beyond Gear, players can further customize their character's fighting style using a new loadout feature. Want to play a Batarang heavy Batman build or emphasize parries? The choice will soon be yours. This game looks phenomenal. I'm not big into fighting games, but this is probably one I'll be picking up on May 16th. And Jay is not with us. He is suffering from Skype-itis right now.
He will be missed.
I desperately wanted to get his opinion on this topic here. The Xbox Game Pass. So you pay $9.99 a month. You get over 100 games. This is not a streaming service. These games you download to your system. Some games will remain in the program. Some games will be rotated out, and they'll rotate new ones in. From the way I understand it, this is not in lieu of Xbox Live. You would still have to pay for Xbox Live, and then pay this on top of it.
Yeah, it's like a digital GameFly, essentially.
Right. So for someone who has been in the Xbox Live program since launch, this does nothing for me because I own a lot of these games already. Why would I pay more for something I already own? I want to buy it once and not keep paying on it like a rent or a mortgage.
None of them seemed, all the games they were like highlighting too, none of them were new. Like what was the newest game that they showed off? Like Halo 5?
Yeah, Halo 5, Mad Max.
Yeah, Mad Max is probably the newest one. I was very curious about Jay's opinion because the few things he said about it on Twitter were not what I expected him to say. So I would have liked to have heard him talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not for him. I know that. I mentioned this in the 40cast. The lines will be blurred a little bit because they say it's going to be some backwards compatibility games in here as well. And what I'm curious about is if a new game comes out into backwards compatibility and it's in this Game Pass program, are they going to put it behind a wall like, all right, Game X just came out for backwards compatibility, but only if you're in Game Pass can you get it. If you're not in Game Pass, then you can't get it. Will shit like that go down? I hope not, but it's a scenario that I could foresee happening maybe. But I think for people, again, who have been in the program for a long time, it doesn't make sense. If you're new to gaming, you got a son, daughter, family member that wants to get into gaming and they're going to go with the Xbox route, you have to think about paying the $60 up front for Xbox Live and then $10 a month.
Yeah, I mean, maybe also if I was, like you said, if I wasn't already familiar with a ton of these games and if I was just younger and had way more fucking time on my hands. I don't have that kind of time to play this many games. I feel like if I got this, I would feel so much pressure to play these fucking games. Like I'm paying for this once a month. I should go home and I should play these games. It would be like a gym membership where you just fucking feel pressured that you need to go do this.
I mean, I can see the positives of it, no doubt, but I don't think it applies to us here.
Yeah, same with me.
Lastly, a couple news items here for the Nintendo Switch. I know, Corey, that you are not one that is buying the Pro controller. You like to see what the default control mechanics are like before you decide to go out getting a more traditional controller.
Yeah.
But if you were to get this controller, there's a message someone has put in there, a hidden message, and it says, thanks to all game fans. And it says THX, then the number 2, all game fans, all in uppercase and all run on together. And it's right above, it looks like the right thumbstick.
Yeah, like kind of in the inside of that little like
engraved
thing. Yeah.
It's sort of like if you had the Xbox controller. I think if you take off the back and look at the remove the battery. I don't know if it says like made in Seattle or made with love in Seattle. Something along those lines are inside underneath the battery.
Oh, really? I've never heard about that.
Or hello from Seattle. Maybe that's what it is. Something along those lines.
Seattle's mentioned either way.
Yes. I'm very confident that Seattle is fucking in there. Yes. And the last news story here, there's a great video that Nintendo put out this week. It's about 17 minutes long, and it goes through various indie games that are coming out on the system. And we're not going to take up your time here and go through all of them. But I just highlight that, you think the system doesn't have third-party support. All right, maybe indie games aren't what you're about. Okay, that's fine. But if you do like indie games and you are concerned about third-party support, this video here shows a lot of cool stuff that's coming out. I think one that I was really interested, I sent you the video to that one. What was that one called? Showdown Hawaii?
Yeah. It was like essentially it's the sequel to Retro City Rampage, which they're calling it the spiritual successor. I don't know why they don't just straight up call it a sequel. It's the same developer and everything, but holy fuck, does that look rad as hell.
So I'm pumped. I think I said this before, is I'm really going to look at the Switch as my indie box. A lot of these games, if they come out PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch, and I have a chance to buy or get a code from someone, I'm always going to go with the Switch. I'm going to make this my indie machine and build up the library for that way, and then keep my other systems as more as the AAA stuff.
Yeah, I'm in the exact same boat. Like I forecast that Nintendo is going to be very indie friendly. I think that's a route they realize that they should take, because the other consoles said that they're going to be very indie friendly, but there's not a ton of indie stuff. More stuff is coming, but I think Nintendo has a niche that they could fill here. So like you said, I'm excited for a bunch of indies, especially that Showdown Hawaii and Stardew Valley, which I know a lot of people have probably played, but that's coming to the Switch, so I'm excited for that too. And
I really enjoyed the first SteamWorld, so SteamWorld Dig, so SteamWorld Dig 2 is coming out.
Yep.
All right, gentlemen. Well, that was a lengthy episode. We covered Horizon Zero Dawn, the Nintendo Switch, all this news, listener feedback. So great stuff. Over the next week, we'll be releasing smaller episodes as we're live at PAX East in Boston. Joe, you will be missed. But the other four of us will be there for some of the days. I'm not sure how many days Sean will be there. Maybe he'll be worn out from his time at the Corey household. We'll see, but
most definitely he will be.
Yeah. So let's get into some plugs and shout-outs. Corey, you want to go first?
I don't have a ton. Like you said, it's been relatively quiet here, like the calm before the storm. So we do have somebody putting up a Breath of the Wild review that should be up probably by the time this podcast goes up on Bago Games. Josh Nichols, he's like, we didn't get a review code for the game, so he was just like buckling down and playing the game like nonstop as soon as it launched. So go to bagogames.com and look for the review of Breath of the Wild if you haven't already read some of the amazing reviews. And you can follow me on Twitter at Catwood. Follow Bago Games on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram because I'm the social media coordinator and I told you to. And also you can win free games. And keep an eye out for all our PAX coverage. There's going to be a shitload of PAX coverage between all the gamers and beta stuff we're going to do, and we're going to be doing a lot of video stuff this year on Bago Games. So check that out. And that's it for me, I think.
All right. Joe?
I'm just going to give a giant old shoulder shrug here. A little brush your shoulder off to this guy Damien from some other podcast that decided he wanted to talk crap about how I make a living selling on eBay. It's specifically in regards to I sold a couple of the Nintendo classics. Whatever, you're entitled to your opinion. It means nothing to me. So if you want to run your mouth, go ahead. But, to me, like, I'm going to keep feeding my kids and I'm going to keep a roof over my head. And I don't need your approval to do it. It's totally legal what I'm doing. And I actually run a YouTube channel where I help thousands of people come out of a really crappy situation and learn how to take their life into their own hands by selling on eBay, or even just make extra money while they're in college, or extra money to get themselves out of debt. And if that's a problem for you, then it's just something you got to deal with, dude. Whatever.
I want to isolate right where you said I help thousands of people come, and just cut it off right there.
That's a lot of work right there.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
I got to put that back on the board.
All right, so I guess it's my turn as Jay is still tinkering with devices. We don't know what's going on there, but levers and pulleys and switches are all being turned on and off with a feverish pace, but no progress is happening. So anyways, let's give a shout out to Jay. If everybody has a beverage in their hand, let's have a drink for Jay for missing the end of this.
Mm-hmm. I will pour one out into my mouth.
Yep. And shout out to Sean. He has missed as well. Look forward to meeting him in person this week.
Jealous.
Shout out to my boy Glovebox at the 40cast. Looking forward to meeting him in person and hanging out with everybody in general and having a good time in lovely Boston, Massachusetts. Other than that, join us on Discord. We got lots of cool people joining by the day. Love talking with everybody over there. Shout out to all those guys. DRP, Mafia Thugs, Sky Fox. What was the new one today? Poop Plop or Plop Poop, something like that.
Yeah,
and
this Pop Ploop. Don't forget Whale Dick.
Whale Dick, Raven King, all those guys. So thanks for, like I said, I work a job Tuesday through Saturday, 1 to 10, dealing with people that want their money and they want it now, God damn it. And the Discord chat lightens the mood and gets me through the day, so I appreciate that. But other than that, I don't have anything else, gentlemen. It is time to get back to the Switch, time to get back to Horizon Zero Dawn. Corey, I'm going to let you take us out. You can be Jay. All
right, I'll be Joe, too, if you want me to.
No, we know that.
All right, so until next time.
I'm sorry, both, what was his name?
Who?
Bocephus. Bocephus is going to take us out.
Bocephus. All right, so until next time, same beta time. I'm kind of slipping into Adam Sandler there. Same beta time, same beta channel. And we hope to see you at PAX because we want to get drunk with you. See ya.
I got a little dick. It's pathetic.
It wasn't actually that far off from Jay, really.
just tried the rock and stand, and almost went headlong into the urinal. Lean and clean is the way to go. Still dingleberry free.
Haha, oh man, headlong into the urinal would have made for a great opening story for next episode.